Pershing Park was originally built as part of an architectural revival of Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington. Tom BrennerThe, New York Times, Washington. When it was built in 1981 as part of an architectural revival of Pennsylvania Avenue, Pershing Park was a downtown oasis of tree line and water fountain steps from the White House. In the years since, the park has fallen into disrepair and has become a haven for homeless people and pigeons. Now, despite its future as a new National World War I memorial, the park is being pulled into a dispute over how to best preserve its once idyllic past. A groundbreaking ceremony for the memorial is scheduled for Thursday, but some members of Washington's architecture community have lingering concerns because its design is not yet final. It's the marriage of two needs, the idea of linking these two things, the new park and the existing program, said Thomas Luebke, the secretary of the Commission of Fine Arts, one of the federal agencies that approves the design and building of national monuments. There are some who will never be satisfied on either side. The process of building a monument in Washington is traditionally a controversial one, experts say, often dogged by financial challenges and disagreements over design and construction. Pershing Park presents an additional challenge of melding new designs into an existing memorial, which is acclaimed in its own right as a milestone in the career of the landscape architect M. Paul Friedberg. Besides the eponymous statue of John J. Pershing, the commander of the American Expeditionary Forces in Europe, the park's most defining features are a fountain in the center of the stone plaza and a pond that was designed to become an ice skating rink in the winter. But the water feature proved too difficult to maintain amid National Park Service funding shortages. The park was named for John J. Pershing, the commander of the American Expeditionary Forces in Europe. Tom BrennerThe, New York Times. It's a high-maintenance park, said Peter Maid, the Park Services Associate Regional Director for Land and Planning. It's really a kind of convoluted arrangement. It didn't work that well. In an interview, Mr. Friedberg said the Park Service neglected his design. To me, that's an obscenity, he said. Of course it's failed. If you let Central Park go to seed, it would be a failed park, too. The current redesign for Pershing Park, which has received concept approval from the Commission of Fine Arts, National Park Service and the National Capital Planning Commission, features an estimated 65-foot-long sculptural wall with SOLRS poised in battle and a smaller, more contained water feature. This has to serve as a memorial and a living, breathing memorial park, said Edwin L. Fountain, the vice chairman of the World War I Centennial Commission and a descendant of World War I veterans. We think this is a sufficient scale and gravitas for the event. Thursday's ceremony was timed to Veterans Day, which this year is on Saturday, and provides a fundraising opportunity for a project that is slated to cost up to $40 million. Around $12 million has been privately raised, and the commission hopes the memorial will be completed by the end of 2018, marking 100 years since the signing of the armistice that ended fighting in World War I. But critics, mostly Mr. Friedberg's supporters, said the current plans do not flow seamlessly with the park's original design. One of the park's most defining features was a pond that became an ice skating rink in the winter. Tom BrennerThe, New York Times. There is also concern that the groundbreaking is premature because the park's design has yet to be approved. It's a bit presumptuous, said Elizabeth K. Mayer, a landscape architect appointed to the Commission of Fine Arts by President Barack Obama. She noted that the President Dwight D. Eisenhower Memorial broke ground off the National Mall last week after 18 years of planning and controversy involving the Mr. Eisenhower's family. By comparison, legislation to build the World War I memorial was signed in 2013. I'm a bit frustrated right now that there's a groundbreaking when there's not an improved final design, Ms. Mayer said. The last time the Fine Arts Commission discussed the design, in May, concerns were raised about missing details for the proposed water feature and how the sculpture wall would be built. What they're trying to build is what we shouldn't be: conservative, obvious and single-minded, Mr. Friedberg said. What we learned from the Vietnam Memorial is that it doesn't have to be in your face. Little remains of the park as he originally envisioned it. The fountain has been turned off. The stone steps are crumbling. And the statue of General Pershing, a pair of binoculars in his hands, stands solitary in the middle of a vibrant tourist district. They're essentially asking us to preserve a park that no longer exists, Mr. Fountain, the Centennial Commission's vice chairman, said of the memorial's critics. In our view, we've done quite a lot, more than we wanted to.